It's an honor and a privilege to introduce our distinguished guest speaker in tonight's ceremony. Ana Irene Delgado is an FSU alumna and honorable substitute deputy at Panama's National Assembly. Ms. Ana Irene Delgado was the youngest ambassador of the Republic of Panama to the United Kingdom of Great Britain in Northern Ireland from 2011 to 2014. Concurrently, she was also permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization, Panama's first ambassador ever to the Republic of Ireland, and ambassador to the Republic of Iceland. She was elected president of International Maritime Organization Assembly during her second term as permanent representative. She was also board member of the World Maritime University in Malmö, Sweden. Currently, Mrs. Delgado is to be substitute deputy at Panama's National Assembly, representing the country's largest constituents involving land, sea, islands, seashores, and rivers. She is the first woman ever to be elected to the National Assembly in representation of the districts of Chepo, Chimán, Balboa, and Taboga, which form her constituency. Ana Irene Delgado graduated as valedictorian at Colegio Las Esclavas del Sagrado Corazón de Jesús, where she obtained a scholarship to study law at Santa Maria la Antigua University, where she also graduated as valedictorian. Ms. Delgado also studied at Florida State University, Panama, where she majored in international affairs, specializing in economics. She received a Master of Law degree from New York University in 2006. She is a partner in the law firm of Solis and Delgado and Guevara since 2006, where she heads the international department, including an office in Mayfair, London, which opened in 2014. I now recognize Ms. Ana Irene Delgado.
I am honored to be here today at the commencement ceremony of my alma mater, Florida State University, the second oldest university in Panama that gives a complete bilingual American education in Panama, established in 1957. I am especially happy in the company of former professors and friends. Thank you, President Dr. Carlos Ricardo Langoni, Vice Rector Dr. Alexandra Anifanti, Dr. Leiva, Alonso de la Guardia, Dr. Pousa, Valerie, Dr. Carlos Guevara Man, proud parents, faculty, and specialty the class of 2020. As I said, this is a tremendous honor, which I'm not sure if I deserve it. After examining the list of previous commencement speakers, you have had ministers, gurus, successful business people, but here I am. This invitation today is much more special and personal than you think, and I would like to tell you why. When I enrolled FSU, I was totally undecided on what to study as a major. At the time, I was a very undecided person, and I thought that FSU will give me some light. At the same time, I was studying law and working for a family radio business and trying to get classification for fencing to the Olympic London 2012. My FSU career provided to me to be decisive in my immediate future. As a kid, I remember our family trips to what we call the countryside in Panama, Chepo. I can still hear my father telling us about his origins and how lucky we were to have what we have then. I admire how hard he worked and how far he got through education, coming from a very humble family. Now in life, I can genuinely appreciate all this learning, and that makes me wake up every day, not forgetting where I come from and where I want to be. This is the first lesson that I'd like to share with you today. Never forget where you come from, and that for me is the pillar that will hold our dreams. I had the privilege and luck to grow up in a family of 2 boys, 2 girls. We were all very competitive in our own ways, and even though we argue and disagree, we respect each other. One day, we were at home, my own grandmother, my brother, and me. I remember as it was today, expecting my mom's arrival from work, and she said to me, "One day, look, you will be like your mother, going back and forth from work." My grandmother said, "Look, Jose is your older brother and you have to respect that. Please don't ever again go and tell your mother, because that's evening what your brother has done." I was shocked and said, "This is so unfair," and kept looking for proof to accuse him over and over again. To this continuous complaining, my mother said, "You are all very different, but after all, you are all my children, and you need to learn and to live with each other." It took me some time to understand that each human being has its own values. This is the second idea I'd like to share with you today. Every human being has his talents and is unique. This is the beauty of teamwork. Always try to work as a team. We can go further if we go together. The dramatic situation that the world is living today is a proof of that. Third lesson, do not waste time lining someone else's life. I used to compare myself with others all the time, and I learned quickly that each of us are unique human beings. Your life is already amazing. Don't ever forget we are all here for a reason. I strongly believe that whatever you do, you need to be happy, and that will immediately going to make it a great piece of art. When you enjoy what you do, you feel fulfilled. A few years back, I got appointed as Panamanian ambassador to the United Kingdom. It was a huge responsibility for a 28 years old, and I had no idea what to expect. It happens that while in college, I did a week trip to London, and that was my only memory of England. I hesitated and was undecided on whether to accept or not, because I had other plans already going on. But I finally did accept. I hurried and started to get ready for the big responsibility ahead. When I look back, it was a roller coaster, but I'm sure opportunities like this will never come back. And there was me in London looking for my Olympic qualification that I had planned, but now I was the Panamanian ambassador to the UK and had the honor and the privilege to host the Panamanian Olympic team in the London Olympics 2012. I would like to tell you one anecdote. When the Queen received me to present my credentials as ambassador in the palace, she asked me how I felt in London. I had no idea what was the right answer in that moment, what to say to the longest living monarch, head of state on earth. I said, all is good, but honestly, for me, this is freezing and sunset comes too soon. The conversation became more informal, and I switched to the interest on horse riding, as she's a horse lover, and she was told of my equestrian practice. Sometimes in life, there are not good or bad answers, and the best answers are just the natural ones. I grew up thinking that one has to be number one and that losing was not acceptable. It might be right sometimes, but most of the time, when you lose, you can also win, and you win more when losing a good fight. Nowadays, technology is invading our lives, and especially now with COVID-19, this pandemic, we are all relying more and more in technology. Please never forget that technology is programmed by human beings and we always must be in control. Currently, being a member of the Panamanian National Assembly is not easy, I can tell you, especially because politics are tough, not only in Panama but worldwide. It is exceedingly difficult to make a difference unless you keep commitment and determination. As I said before, I have learned that one should not waste time living someone else's life. Your life is much more interesting. Your life is unique. Everyone has a different story. I am sure each of you, class of 2020, have very different stories. And people say that everything happens for a reason. I'm not sure if that's true, but I can tell you that you are all here today for a reason. We all have the power to transform the moments we are in. But let me tell you, we can transform it for good or for bad, and that's our choice. Please value each other and connect to each other. The relationship you made throughout these years is unique. You will have them all your life. Friends are very rare, and life connections are too important to forget and not value them. Before I forget, please do not take anything in life for granted. I will tell you a little story today that my lower grade ever came from the class, an excellent class I took with Dr. Carlos Guevara Man, who is a family friend, someone I personally look up and from whom I continue learning every single day. This grade probably taught me much more than all other A's I got. You guys are now in a perfect and ideal position. The future is ahead of you, and you have the power of transforming it to positive legacy to future generations. Build yourself a great story, a story of your own. Thank you very much.